الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد كما صليت على اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة وابعثه اللهم مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد أيها الناس، فإن أصدق الكلام كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His divine call to us, O you who have attained faith, be Allah conscious. Have awe and reverence in your hearts for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And do that in a way that is worthy of who He is, worthy of His essence, worthy of His names and attributes, worthy of His grace and bounties and favors. And with that, make sure you do not die except in a state of Islam. فَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Make sure you do not die except in a state of Islam, in a state of loving surrender of our souls and innermost recesses of our hearts and our minds and our words and our deeds, all in loving compliance and in loving surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah who created us in this world, in this dunya, with all the challenges of this world and of this dunya, of which He has always known before He even created time and space, and He created all of that for a divine reason, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a divine wisdom, as He created dunya as dara bala'in wa laysat Dar Na'ma, a home of trials and challenges, not a home of full prosperity and ease and facility. He subhanahu wa ta'ala with that dunya sent us the gift of deen. Dunya is built upon hardships. That's its nature. Upon trials, upon tribulations, upon challenges. And the nature of deen that He offers to us subhanahu wa ta'ala to navigate in dunya freely and wisely and in a way to maximize the noble happiness that He subhanahu wa ta'ala intends for us. Deen, therefore, is a means by which we are relieved, we are released, we are liberated from the hardships of dunya, from the usr of dunya. Buniyat ad-dunya ala usr wa buniyat ad-deenu ala al-yusr. And that is of His rahmah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of the means that He subhanahu wa ta'ala instituted for us in order to navigate freely and to maximize our noble freedom, our noble happiness, and I underline the word noble freedom and noble happiness. Of the means for that is first of all the declaration with our own tongue after it resides in our hearts and minds of Tawheed. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is no deity, no God worthy of worship. No God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the statement is a Shahada. Shahada means also literally to witness. And therefore when we say La ilaha illallah, we are meant to reach a level, hopefully sooner than later, hopefully some indeed faster than others, we reach a level where that declaration is a witness in our hearts. In other words, we declare it as though we see God, we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we say, Ashhadu, I bear witness. My heart sees, my heart knows. Not only a declaration of tongue. The ultimate purpose for which we are here is to gradually be one who witnesses with his or her heart Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فتشهد أن لا إله إلا هو. That you serve and worship Allah as though you were to see Him, and then you say, I witness, I bear witness. And to facilitate that for us subhanahu wa ta'ala, as this is the ultimate purpose for which we were created, He subhanahu wa ta'ala instituted many beautiful aspects and values of deen to help us in that. As-salah. Performing salah. The mandatory salah and the supererogatory salah. In order to help us liberate ourselves more and more of the hardships and difficulties and the addictions, the negative ones of this dunya. And therefore, when the caller for salah calls, he says, Hayya alal falah. Come to happiness. Come to, some translate, success. Come to falah. Whatever you're doing, even though illegal, even though foul, hopefully nothing haram and illegal, what you are doing, break it. Break from that and come to salah. So that you are liberated from the attachments and the addictions, unnecessary and often excessive, to this dunya, which then becomes a struggle of calamitous proportions. Allah frees you with that call. ثُمَّ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. And verily salah forbids and keeps us away and prevents us from falling into excesses. Fahsha. excesses. Zina is an excess. Zina is called fahisha because it's an excess. It's not within the bounds of the norms of morality and decency and noble humanity, let alone awareness of the beauty of the divine subhanahu wa ta'ala, let alone the misuse and the abuse of the ni'mah of sexual drive, abusing it and misusing it through zina, and therefore being ungrateful to the giver of that ni'mah, ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in general, as-salah helps us avoid excesses, all excesses. Indeed, when we perform salah properly and consciously and with awareness, excesses in eating, excesses in drinking, in sleeping, excesses in speaking, excesses in social behavior, in all sorts of behavior, excesses in religiosity, all excesses. تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر, and munkar is that which is despised, that which is strange, unknown, but negatively strange and negatively unknown, to keep away from it. And therefore the things that are not beautiful are munkar, because those who are beautiful don't know it. The malaika don't have it as their habit, as their knowledge of good. It is munkar. It is a munkar. Nakartu shay mean I found it strange. I didn't recognize it. تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. So Salah is a means of liberating us also from the excesses of dunya in which we are navigating to go back home where we first originated. Home is Jannah. And we want to go back home. And Allah Azza wa Jal sent us to this dunya after we were meant and made to leave home, Jannah, because of a mistake. He tells us, Azza wa Jal, you can come back home, but now follow my instructions of my deen in your dunya to come back home. And when we come back home this time, it would be inshallah forever, no return. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Second, Zakah. Allah teaches us Zakah. And Zakah is a means of liberation also in this dunya, to navigate freely in noble freedom in this dunya, so that we are detached and disengaged from the excesses of attachments that we have to wealth and consequently to power. And wealth is often used for power. Power at home, power in the community, power in the state, power. And then excesses and excesses. And zakah is to let go of that internal attachment that we have for wealth, to liberate our hearts and minds from that attachment, so that that liberated energy is used for connecting with Allah Azza wa Jal. You would like your energy to be used properly. Your spiritual, intellectual energies, you would like them to be used properly for the purpose for which you were created. And thus, when you remove attachments that we have inside of us, especially the excesses in this one of wealth, then that energy is available for our use in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know how much we have sometimes attachments, even some of them normal, regular, even legitimate attachments, how they bind us, how they enslave us sometimes, how they make us sometimes excessively scared to lose them, excessively scared to have ourselves deal with competition for them. And the thought of that, the worries about that, all of that is pain, and all of that is servitude and slavehood to other than Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah wants us to be liberated, not by taking it all from you, but by wisely and divinely allowing you and instructing you and me to detach from that and to give to the needy and the poor in ways that are very moral and very beautiful and very constructive to society itself and to dunya itself in the good sense of the word of dunya. That's why zakah is called zakah. And zakah is from to purify and to purge and to polish. And thus to purge our wealth, to purge our hearts from the attachments we have to that. Greed, you all know the word greed, and I think everybody here knows that greed is very derogatory of an attribute. And you don't want to be greedy, but many of us are greedy. Though we don't want to be greedy, but we are greedy. Many of us don't want to lie, but we lie. Many of us don't want to commit some haram, but we do. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jal has ways by which to help us. Do this and do that and strive. No striving, no gain. No pain, no gain. That's the nature of the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. In your work, at home, wherever. No work, no gain. No striving, no gain. No striving internally, no gain spiritually with Allah Azza wa Jal. حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةُ بِالْمَكَارِهِ, isn't it? عفوا حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةُ بِالْمَكَارِهِ. Jannah is surrounded, as Rasulullah ﷺ said. Imagine a separation, a wall, and that wall is called makarih, things we don't like, things our nafs, our self doesn't like to do or doesn't like not to do. Doesn't like to commit and doesn't like to omit. So we have to strive to go beyond that barrier. Some of you perhaps understand this in the other way. Entropy, the law of entropy in nature, this physics law, this universal law of entropy. Entropy says you do not do work externally inside an internal system. If you don't bring work from outside that system, that system will spoil and will be disorganized and will, with time, will weaken and evanesce. So entropy requires that I and you do work from outside of our nafs, inside, so that we arrange those attachments inside and we strive against them to produce order inside of us. And order is what Allah Azza wa Jalla loves. Moral entropy. If we don't do that, with time we shall become immoral, whether we like it or not. That's why when we don't, sometimes we know something is wrong, but we do it because we have weakened and we have allowed entropy to take over, moral entropy to take over. We need to do work from outside of us, inside of us, to produce moral order inside of us and in our lives. Allah Azza wa Jal instituted siyam. And siyam is for the purpose also of liberation, of maximizing our happiness, of ennobling the concept of pursuit of our happiness. Not any happiness, not any freedom, noble happiness, noble freedom. Not the happiness of a cow, nor the freedom of a cow. A cow is also very happy when you give it what it wants, to eat and to drink and to sleep and to copulate and to run. And the cow is very happy because that's its nature. And Allah created the cow that way. That's the happiness of a cow. But if I, as a human being, pursue my kind of happiness in that way, then in essence I'm not different than a cow. And I strive and I work hard to eat and drink and sleep and copulate and play. Then what's in essence the difference between me and the cow? Except the physical appearance. And physical appearance is due only to the way, as you know, atoms are arranged in molecules. And the organizations of those molecules make the difference between you and me and a cow. That's simple because we're all made from the same stuff, electrons and protons. Same thing. And those when arranged differently than Allah Azza wa Jall's hikmah, then you have a cow, and you have a human being, physically speaking. But we're not only physical things. We're not different from cows simply because of the way the molecules are arranged in our organisms, but because of the deen factor. Because of the nature of happiness we pursue, and the nature of freedom we pursue. The quality of it, what kind of it. Not the cow-like happiness, not the cow-like freedom, and in that way we are no different than cattle. And Allah Azza wa Jal instituted Siyam to help us control the attachments we have for even legitimate things. Eating, drinking, sleeping, copulating. So that we have control over that. We're not just cows. But there is something else. And Allah is teaching us to liberate us, subhanahu wa ta'ala, from those accesses to that. And so on. And Allah has finally, my point briefly today, has also instituted for us Hajj. And the duty of Hajj. And the journey of Hajj. And the trip of Hajj to the house of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah. To the house of Allah Azza wa Jal. That journey which actually also superimposes in a spiritual way the journey of our hearts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's actually a means by which Allah makes us aware, more aware of our journey, of our hearts to Him Azza wa Jal. And we shall be idhnillah on this weekend elaborate more on these concepts. And therefore the Hajj to the house of Allah Azza wa Jal with your physical body is intended to remind you and me of the Hajj of your heart to the Lord of the house. One of the Salihun said, during my first Hajjah, I saw people. I saw an-nas, I saw creation. In my second Hajjah, I saw finally the house of the Lord. I saw, meaning my qalb began to appreciate. And then in my other Hajjah, I don't know how many Hajjat, until he got to the point when he said, then in that Hajjah, my heart, I saw, that is my heart, saw the Lord of the house. Ra'a qalbi, Rabb al-Bayt. In that beautiful spiritual sense, that the Hajj is intended to make me aware of my journey every day, every second, through my soul and heart to Him Azza wa Jal. And He offered me in that journey, depending on where I am in my journey of Hajj, He offers me gifts and gifts and gifts. Just like the journey of our hearts to Him Azza wa Jal, on the way, depending how much we have crossed, there will be gifts and gifts and gifts and challenges. And of the most beautiful expressions of Hajj, and they're all very beautiful, is al-wuqufu bi-Arafah. To be in Arafat. To be in Arafat, preferably from after the sun is away from the center of the sky, that is after Dhuhr, until after the sun sets. From when the heat of the sun is very intense, you in Arafat should be there, head uncovered for man, and there standing or sitting or laying, preferably standing, in dua and in dhikr and in istighfar and in talbiyah and in tahleel, all of which are intended to convey the following meaning. When we enter Arafat under the heat of the day physically, I and you are entering Arafat with the heat and the flame of the demons inside of me and you. The flames of the demons inside of you and me, of nafs, of ego, of arrogance, of delusion, of lying, of cheating, of sinning, of disobeying, of voluntarily violating the beautiful norms of Allah Azza wa Jal, of hurting each other. These dhunub we come with, this dhunub that burn our souls from our nufus and shaitan inside of us. So we are there under the heat of the day, when it is scorching heat, representing the heat of the dhunub inside of us, and we are there in istighfar and confession and istighfar and tawbah and tahleel and witnessing our own faults and deficiencies and acknowledging them to Allah Azza wa Jal until after the sun sets. Physically the sun sets. What happens when the sun sets? It cools off, right? The land cools off. The face cools off. Until when we are in Arafat, in that ibadah, not smoking, wal-iyadu billah, not backbiting, not talking, not eating more than if you were outside of Arafat or as you were outside of Arafat, and backbiting and even disobeying Allah Azza wa Jalla and throwing garbage everywhere. La ya ibadallah. To be aware of that meaning, of what you are there for, pleading to Allah Azza wa Jal about minute violations in my life, in my relationship with Him, and major ones, as I am there and my heart, let alone my eyes, are overwhelmed and flooded with tears of sincerity. By the time the sun sets, the heat, the burning heat of dhunub inside, of the past and of now, finally cools off. Allah has accepted. And that's why until after the sun sets, it's cool. It cools off, and inside of you, it cools off as well, as a gift from Allah to you on that day. يوم يباهي به الله سبحانه وتعالى الملائكة يباهي بهم عباده الذين أتوه شؤثا غبرا. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us in the hadith, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day celebrates the Hujjaj who are there in presence of the angels. And He forgives them. Those who came there with hearts devoted to liberate their hearts from their dhunub and to pledge to Allah Azza wa Jal to return back home, this home of this dunya, with a new resolve for His obedience subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه طوبى للمستغفرين. Seek Allah's forgiveness. What an excellent abode awaits those who seek His forgiveness. الحمد لله وكفى وصلى الله على عباده الذين اصطفى. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبدك ونبيك ورسولك النبي الأمي، وعلى أزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذريته وأهل بيته أجمعين، كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وآل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. صلاة هي أطيب الصلاة وأزكاها لديك وأحبها وأرضاها إليك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. And yes, and Hajj is a means of liberation, is a means of reminding us in this parallel journey physically, reminding us of our journey for which we were created in this dunya, the journey of our hearts to Him Azza wa Jal. And so that we learn to do everything we do at home, at work, in the masjid, administratively, politically, socially, religiously, morally, spiritually, at all levels, we learn to be conscious of these facts because we are on a journey. And when you are on a journey to a destination, you must not forget where you're going, lest you will end up somewhere you don't want to be. True or false? We must not forget our destination, lest we shall end up somewhere we don't want to be. How often have you driven, and when you were driving, something happened? I know it happened to some of us here, adults especially. And you're driving and you don't know how you ended up somewhere. You don't know. Oh, 5 minutes, a minute, 10 minutes. How did I get here? SubhanAllah, spiritually it teaches you and me, be always aware of your destination. Lest you shall end up being somewhere you don't want to be. And it is very harmful to be there, perhaps, and very dangerous and very treacherous. So we are to remember this. Through the journey of Hajj to the house of Allah, we are reminded of the journey of our house, of our hearts, to the Lord of the house, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Hajj, therefore, out of rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal, is made mandatory upon those who are able to perform it. And now ability depends on many factors, not only financially and health-wise, but also if you can get a visa. In the United States, we're very, very lucky. Alhamdulillah, we can have that. We can go to Hajj every year so far. Remember, this is a ni'mah to be asked about on the Day of Judgment. Have you, my dear brother and sister, performed your Hajj when you were able to? Immediately when you are able to, for in accordance to the majority of the ulama, the 3 schools of thought out of 4, they say that al-Hajj fardun ala al-fawr, la ala al-tarahi. Hajj is an obligation immediately as one is able to. Meaning, financially, physically, and now administratively about visas and passports. Once you have that ability, then you must perform Hajj. If I die within that year, having been able to and did not intend to perform Hajj that year, and I die as a person who has disobeyed Allah Azza wa Jal, I would die as a disobedient abd of Allah Azza wa Jal, having not complied with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when able to. And usually what prevents you and me from doing that when we are able to? Matters of dunya. And that's an excess of attachment to dunya. And Allah wants to free you and me from the accesses that we have for dunya. Not dunya, the accesses that we have for dunya. For He created us in dunya, to live in dunya, but not with excess. So that we can come back home freely and happily and forever, my dear brothers and sisters. And bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, the remaining 2 days, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, we'll have more opportunity to say a lot more about the external fiqh of Hajj, as well as the internal spiritual dimensional fiqh of Hajj as well, inshallah ta'ala. Allahumma ja'alna min alladhina yastami'una al-qawla فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. Ya Allah, please let us be of those who listen to the words of admonition and follow the best of them. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من كل داء. Ya Allah, cleanse our hearts from every ailment. اللهم طهر قلوبنا مما سواك. Ya Allah, cleanse our hearts from other than you. Liberate our hearts from other than you. Let our hearts be attached to you as they are attached to nothing created in the like of it. Make and let our love for you, our hubb, love for you, more beloved to us and more of an attachment in our hearts than the hubb or love that we have for anything you created, including our own selves, including our own likes, including our own priorities, including our own preferences. Liberate us from us. Grant us the noble happiness of the righteous and the noble freedom of the righteous, so that we come to you free from that which is an impediment and an obstacle against experiencing your divine nearness. اللهم طهر قلوبنا مما سواك. اللهم زين قلوبنا لك واليوم العرض عليك. اللهم اجعلنا من الموحدين المخلصين، من مقيم الصلاة الخاشعين، من المزكين المحبين في ذلك للزكاة، من الصائمين صوم المتقين، ومن الحاجين حج المبرورين، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا. اللهم اشف مرضانا. Ya Allah, please heal those who are sick amongst us. Physical sickness, moral sickness, psychological sickness, mental sickness, all sorts of sickness. Please grant us relief. Grant us shifa. برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وارحم موتانا. And grant rahmah to those who have passed away from amongst us. Grant them your merciful love and your loving mercy. يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. ووالدينا خاصة, our parents especially, those who have passed away, please grant them your loving mercy. Let them be with you and amongst your angels of the happy ones, the happiness of Akhirah. And let us be after them, behind them, children and offsprings who are righteous, who honor them where they are, not who dishonor them where they are. Because if I or you do wrong things in this dunya, that will dishonor those who are with Allah already, of my parents and yours, and my beloved and yours. Ya Allah, don't cause them to be shameful about what we do in this dunya. برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين. اللهم دافع عن الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم من أراد الإسلام والمسلمين بكيد فرده عليه. اللهم واجعلنا هادين مهديين، لا ضالين ولا مضلين، لا مبدلين ولا مغيرين، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. استووا يرحمني يرحمكم الله. Please fill in the gaps and straighten the lines. May Allah bless you. لا تختلفوا فتختلف قلوبكم. Do not allow our lines to be crooked, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught, lest our hearts will become crooked. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله ومن يفعل ذلك فأولئك هم الخاسرون. وأنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت فيقول رب لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق وأكن من الصالحين ولن يؤخر الله نفسا إذا جاء أجلها والله خبير بما تعملون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. الله أكبر.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, request for a few du'as. Dua for Maghroui, brother Habib Wali Muhammad Tabani. He is uncle of our Mansur Tabani, our brother Mansur Tabani. May Allah forgive his shortcomings and reward him Jannah. And also